As investigators, one of the most important skills we must develop is the ability to separate what we observe from what we assume. During an interview, we naturally pay attention to a person's demeanor, their body language, facial expressions, tone of voice, level of eye contact, and overall presentation. For many years, investigators were taught to treat these behaviors as indicators of truthfulness. A person who avoided eye contact, appeared nervous, or displayed unusual behavior was often viewed as suspicious, while someone who appeared calm and confident was sometimes perceived as more credible. However, modern investigative practices have challenged this traditional belief. The key principle we must remember is this: demeanor reflects emotion, but it does not necessarily reveal truth or deception. People respond to stressful situations in very different ways. A workplace investigation can be an extremely emotional experience, whether the person is a complainant, witness, or respondent. Nervousness, discomfort, silence, agitation, or even unusual emotional reactions may simply reflect the pressure of the situation rather than dishonesty. Example: a truthful witness may appear anxious because they are afraid of saying the wrong thing. A person who has experienced trauma may appear detached, laugh nervously, or struggle to provide a perfectly organized timeline. On the other hand, someone who is not being truthful may appear calm and confident. Therefore, relying only on behavioral impressions can easily lead investigators to the wrong conclusions. Another important consideration is culture. Body language does not have a universal meaning. Behaviors that are interpreted one way in one culture may have a completely different meaning in another. For example, in some cultures, avoiding direct eye contact with authority figures is a sign of respect rather than dishonesty. Investigators must be careful not to apply their own cultural expectations as a universal standard of credibility. There is also a significant risk of bias. If an investigator forms an early opinion based on a person's demeanor, it can influence how they interpret later information. They may unconsciously search for evidence that confirms their initial impression while overlooking information that challenges it. This is known as confirmation bias. For this reason, demeanor should never be the foundation of a credibility finding. An investigator should not conclude that someone is truthful or untruthful simply because of how they appear during an interview. That does not mean demeanor has no value. Observations can still be useful when applied carefully. For example, if a witness's behavior changes significantly when discussing a particular topic, that may be a signal for the investigator to ask additional questions or explore that area further. However, the observation itself is only a prompt for inquiry. It is not evidence of credibility. Ultimately, credibility assessments should be based on stronger foundations: the consistency of the account, the plausibility of the explanation, the level of detail provided, and whether the information is supported or contradicted by independent evidence such as documents, electronic records, or other witness testimony. As investigators, our responsibility is not to judge people based on how they look, react, or communicate under pressure. Our responsibility is to remain neutral, challenge our own assumptions, and allow the evidence, not our impressions, to guide the outcome.